Wasteland Commander. Chapter 61. Mutation. Hearing Gao Dongliang's words, Yi Fan was immediately delighted. Oh, have you contacted the survivors? Yeah, I've basically figured out everything around Coal City. Go to the office and talk. Yi Fan immediately brought Gao Dongliang to the office, and Gao Dongliang introduced him. There are now 5 large bases around Coal City, more than a dozen small and medium-sized survivor gathering points, and some small teams, but those small teams are of little value and have too few supplies. Large-scale bases include the Hot Spring Base, Dakingshan Prison Base, Dawangswang Village Base, the Hardware Building Base in Sisui County, and the Meicheng Airport Base. Then do you know who the leaders of these bases are? I know, the leader of the Hot Spring Base is called Daiyu, nicknamed Hairtail. It is said that he is a sharpshooter. Their base has the largest number of people. The one in Dakingshan is called Xinghai, and their base is the strongest. The one in Dawangswang Village is called Qinhao, and the one in the Hardware Building is called Lu Long. The leader of the airport base is called Qin Yuma. She seems to be a woman. She is relatively mysterious. She has never spoken on the radio. Having said this, Yao Dongliang said, Yi Fan, I said on the radio that we are the Chengguan Town base in Lingshui County, and the leader is you. Is that okay? Otherwise, people will always ask me where I am from. Yi Fan nodded. Since he wanted to trade with the survivors, he had to tell who he was. It didn't matter if he said his name. Basically, no one knew him anyway. Yi Fan, I looked at the supplies that the base lacks. There are too many things that are lacking. Medicines, weapons, ammunition, diesel, coal, clothing, etc. Basically everything is lacking. But I was really laughed at when I said trading gold and silver. After a while, Lu Long from the Hardware Building even called me stupid. Only some people from small and medium-sized bases said they wanted to trade with me, but they don't have much gold, silver and jewelry in their hands at the moment. They asked me to confirm a trading time. Take advantage of this period to start collecting. If you don't hurry up and set the trading time, just let them collect it. In this way, everyone who collects more than 5 kilograms of gold can trade with us. You can make a list of the materials they need from me now. We will also collect supplies starting tomorrow. As long as the gold is available, they can decide the trading location. Try to be in the middle of the 2 houses. What about material pricing? You should study this, and remember, don't suffer a loss. What everyone is lacking now is not gold but other materials. Gold is not as important to them as food. Don't give it too high a value. The cheaper the better. Okay, I'll make a list for you now. Yao Dongliang picked up his pen and began to write a list of supplies that the survivors needed. Yi Fan took it over and looked at it. He didn't have any supplies now, only some firearms. These firearms were all seized by him from Jiang Shilong and those at the Dakingshan prison base, including some police pistols and some rifles. There is also a 56 punch, which was left behind by the soldiers who died in the battle. When the gun leaves the hands of the Red Alert soldiers, it will become an ordinary gun and will no longer have the function of automatically refreshing bullets. These firearms are of little use in Yi Fan's hands, and they don't have many bullets. They should be able to be traded. He called in the soldiers who were guarding outside the door. 3 combat platoons take turns guarding. The person currently guarding Yi Fan's door is the 2nd platoon leader Shin Ruihui. Ruihui, go copy this list and distribute it to the survivors in the restaurant. Tell them that children under the age of 14 and elders over the age of 55 can stay for cooking. The rest will follow the army tomorrow. Act together, the troops will fight the zombies, and they need to collect the things on the list, and the 3 heavy trucks will be given to them. Okay, sir, I'll do it right away. Shin Ruihui took the list and left, and found many soldiers to copy it. He quickly made a large stack and took it to the restaurant to distribute it to the survivors. After a while, Shin Ruihui came back, and Yi Fan asked him how the situation was. Sir, most of the survivors are fine, especially the students who support you, but some of the original survivors feel that they shouldn't do this. Oh, who all think so? Mainly because they have some old relationship with your family and they think they should do some management duties. Yi Fan sneered, what a stinking problem. Go over and tell those people again and give them 3 choices. 1 is to follow the troops to collect supplies. The other is to pick up weapons and fight zombies without giving them guns. The other one is, just leave here and go wherever you like. There are no idlers here. Clear. Shin Ruehue left again and came back after a while. Sir, the mission is completed. What did they say this time? I may want to say something, but I don't dare. Yi Fan nodded, just don't dare. He will ask his sister and Chu Xiaoming to keep an eye on these people. If there is any change, he will never tolerate it. These people simply cannot make it through the waves. Maybe there will be more survivors in the future, and some people with power will feel that they deserve better treatment, such as those with abilities. But Yi Fan will not let go in this regard. He will make the best use of people's talents and resources. He does not need any armed force composed of survivors to fight. Red police soldiers are enough. The survivors should do other people's livelihood things. It was late at night, and Yi Fan lay down to rest. Tomorrow morning, his team would set off again, striving to clear Qingguan town within 2 days. In a gutter, Wang Huining slowly opened his eyes. Am I still alive? There was a slight pain in his arm, which made him wake up a little. By the way, my hand was grabbed by a zombie and cut off by myself. I want to report it to Boss Xing. Standing up, he felt a little strange. His arm didn't seem to hurt so much. Looking down, he was dumbfounded. There were some signs of scabbing on the arm, but a trace of black blood came out of it. Why is this, black blood? Have I turned into a zombie? Then why can I still think? Wang Huining was scared. He saw a puddle in front of him and hurried over to take a look. In the puddle, his image has changed too much. The original bald head has become much larger, and the proportion of the head and body is a bit out of proportion. There are some spots on the face, which are signs of evolution into zombies. But he turned into a zombie, but not completely. It seems that something unexpected happened during the mutation process, turning him into a semi-zombie state. If a person's transformation into a zombie is a 100% change, this can only be considered a 50% change. He opened his mouth and saw that his teeth were much sharper, which was the sign of a zombie. Wang Huining was a little confused. He didn't know what to do in this situation. With this appearance of a human being and a ghost, can he still return to the Dakingshan prison base? While feeling depressed, he suddenly heard movement behind him. He turned around sharply and saw a farmer zombie staggering over from behind. Although Wang Huining is a person with abilities, his combat ability is not very strong. When he saw the zombies so close to him, he was almost scared to death. He stood up in a hurry and wanted to run away. He lost his balance due to missing one hand and accidentally fell down. The zombie was already in front of him. Wang Huining waved his hands at the zombies in fear and said without hesitation, "Don't come over." Something strange happened. The zombies actually stopped. Early the next morning, Yi Fan's team set off. The heavy machine guns on the armored vehicles and Xiaolong vehicles flashed with cold light, which was intimidating. The military dogs slithered down next to Yi Fan. Anyone who dared to have ill intentions towards the commander would be immediately noticed and quickly torn into pieces. 100 heavily armed soldiers, plus more than 300 survivors, all gathered on the street between the police station and the restaurant. Yi Fan came to the front of the survivor team and said loudly, "Today your task is very simple, that is, follow the troops. We clear an area, and you collect valuable things in this area and load them into the vehicle. Among them, gold silver jewelry must be handed over. No one is allowed to hide anything. The more you contribute, the better treatment you will get in the future. Anyone who tries to take advantage of me and my family will get what kind of treatment they want. All thoughts are intolerable, these are the rules, do you understand?" Understood. Those students answered particularly neatly, and other survivors also shouted out. Faced with this scene, no one dared to challenge Yi Fan's authority. Yi Fan was quite satisfied and waved his hand, "Let's go." "Thanks, Dean, please put me out of the hospital. For the generous reward from book friends, I have another helmsman in the red alert." The evolution of zombies is inevitable, otherwise this book would not be finished until the later stage. The battle can be solved without the Air Force and Navy. How difficult is it for stragglers wandering around? I don't want to write an invincible article that is too why. Some readers should not be too conceited. Who is the red alert afraid of when we send troops to advance science and technology? Chapter 63. Base Site Selection. The troops and survivors went out to eliminate zombies and collect supplies. Yi Fan did not follow after giving the order. The radar screen has reflected everything in Qingguan town. There are still 20,000 zombies here. With the current strength of a 100-person team, they can be bulldozed in 2 days. He does not need to be on the front line to command. Yi Fan stayed at the police station and was discussing the construction of the base vehicle with 4 engineers. Engineer Luo Jiaxin proposed the plan. Sir, the preliminary materials used for the base vehicle have been determined. We currently need a large amount of steel. Please help us prepare 500 tons each, and then create a warehouse for us. The length is required to be no less than 80 meters and the width is no less than 80 meters. It's 50 meters away, which is convenient for us to construct. We need such a big warehouse. Yes, for internal operations in the warehouse, you will also need to send troops to guard the warehouse, and send no less than 50 soldiers to help us do some basic work. This can improve work efficiency. Okay, I understand, let's make arrangements now. Yi Fan actually knows one such warehouse, and it's located in Chengguan Town. The grain depot located in Chengguan Town was originally used for spreading and cleaning grain. However, later on, the grain department began to streamline its organization due to the recession, so the grain depot was contracted out. But the private owner later went bankrupt and disposed of all the grain, and the people disappeared. Later, there were only 2 watchmen in the grain warehouse, and everything inside was deserted. There is no good solution before the end of the world breaks out. In this case, this warehouse is a ready-made base vehicle production warehouse. As for steel, there are several factories nearby, which should probably be able to meet production needs. With 1,000 tons of steel, even if there will be a lot of scraps, this base vehicle must be very big. He informed the troops who were preparing for war that they must seize the grain depot today and allow engineers to move in and start construction. Of course, a lot of things are needed, such as generators, lighting equipment, some lathes and other metals, etc., so the troops also pay attention to collecting them. He can find some small lathes here in Chengguan Town. He can use them first to get some detailed things. If the army is larger, he can go to a factory in the suburbs of Lingshui County. Engineers must also be manned, and survivors cannot be allowed to participate in this kind of thing. One company of men was obviously not enough to do so many things, so he wanted to increase the number of troops as soon as possible. The engineer made a request and left. It is estimated that he can enter the warehouse and start working today. The construction of the base vehicle is on the right track. If everything goes well, Yi Fan will be able to see the vehicle in half a month, and with it, there will be an important task. That is to determine where the base will be built. There is a map on the wall of the director's office. It is a topographic map of the province. It is large and very detailed. Picking up a pen and drawing on the map, Yi Fan was looking for a suitable place to stay. It is impossible for the troops to be stationed here in Chengguan Town all the time. From all aspects, this place does not meet Yi Fan's requirements for establishing a base. Having been studying the construction of the base for a long time, Yi Fan finally sorted out his ideas today. In addition to requiring plains, it is best to have mining areas nearby. Whether he looks for jewelry from zombies, collects it from residents' homes, or even goes to jewelry stores or banks in the future, it is actually temporary and cannot meet the development needs of Red Alert. He has already learned from Nana that physical buildings, tanks and airplanes in the future will be very expensive. An armored vehicle equipped with a driver and machine gunner costs 4,000 gold, and a tank may cost tens of thousands. If it were a land warfare overlord like Tianqi, even 10,000 or 20,000 people might not be able to get one. Physical buildings are even more expensive. He even asked Nana about this issue. Nana's answer is that the physical buildings are very large, and the charges for the Red Alert system are not unreasonably high. They are definitely much cheaper than normal construction, and the construction period is very short and can be completed quickly, but the charges will not be too high. Cheap. So while Yi Fan was trying different ways to make money, mining was an important part of the source of funds. It is located in the northern region. There are mining areas here, but they are few. Having a mine is an option, as well as having a water source. Now they use collected bottled water and barreled water, and the water from the water plant in the city cannot be used. The water in the reservoir is not very clean either. He currently does not have the equipment to purify the water. It is okay to choose a flowing area close to a river, and it should be as far upstream as possible. The river does not flow through the city, and the water source will not be too polluted. Another reason is that it cannot be too remote. There are few people and few zombies in remote places. Yi Fan's troops must continue to train and kill zombies in order to grow. He wants to build an elite army of 3-star soldiers, not a group of newly born starless soldiers. It was too difficult to find a place that met these requirements at the same time. Yi Fan looked around and found that there were only 2 places to choose from in the province. One was close to the Rakshasa border, with mines and plains, but with a smaller number of people. The other one is a backing farm in the Sanjiang Plain. There is a gold mine nearby, but the gold reserves are not large. The water of the Qixing River passes through there. It belongs to the source area of the upper reaches and does not flow through the city. There are mines and water, but there are also shortcomings. That is this plain, which belongs to the junction of 3 cities. To the south is Bingcheng City, to the west is Coal City, and to the east is Huajiang City. There are several dotted county towns nearby, and the number of zombies is a bit too much. However, overall, Yi Fan feels that it is better to base on the backing farm. Although there are many zombies, the wall can be defended if built. A strategic location that can be attacked when advancing and defended when retreating. It's close to any city, and it's right here. After the base vehicle is built, we will move. I should save some money in the past few days to build the base's wall for defense first, and then take the people away when I come back. It is not possible to bring a large group of survivors there and then start construction again. After all, the red alert wall and other things have to be built in advance and cannot appear out of thin air, so he has to go there by himself. Yi Fan picked up the pen and drew a check mark on the backing farm on the map to determine the location of the base construction. According to his budget, he must accumulate more than 100,000 units of money before he can consider building a base, and even 100,000 units may not be possible. Time is tight and the task is heavy. I wonder how much I can gain from today's battle. Listening to the sound of gunfire echoing outside, the battle has been going on for several hours. The large delivery truck has returned 5 or 6 times and brought back a lot of supplies, including food, gasoline, medicine, clothes, and countless daily necessities, all of which were piled next to it. Inside the 2 newly developed private houses, they have become temporary warehouses. However, the gold has not been returned yet. I will definitely be promoted to battalion commander today, depending on how much gold I have. Just as she was thinking about it, Nana suddenly sent a prompt, "Sir, a supply box was found on the map, located at the town government building." "Oh. Get it back for me immediately." Yi Fan suddenly became energetic and actually took out the supply box to see what good goods he could get. Second platoon leader Shin Ruehue was ordered to go, but 10 minutes later, he asked Yi Fan to change his perspective. Yi Fan cut in and was stunned by the scene in front of him. The picture is of the town government building. Yi Fan also saw the town government building for the first time after the apocalypse. The other buildings remained unchanged, but this building collapsed. It was not an ordinary collapse, but something collapsed. The troops walked into the ruins and felt that the ground beneath their feet was scorched black. After walking hard for a while, he saw a huge pit in the middle of the ruins. The radar showed that the supply box was in the pit. Green light spot, but there is also a red light spot that overlaps with the green one. Why is there a pit here? There are actually mutated zombies here. I have a hunch that a big guy is going to come out of this scammer. Thanks to the book friend, Q, for the 10,000 rewards and becoming our 10th rudder level fan of Red Alert. Chapter 64. Advancement. Seeing the supply boxes and the collapsed government building, Yi Fan's heart tightened. He can still clearly remember the situation just before the apocalypse broke out. The sky was filled with roaring meteors, which were particularly dazzling. He did not see where the countless meteors fell because he had passed out a moment ago. There was nothing going on in their community, and there were many places along the way that were fine, but he heard that there was a meteor falling in the military area. Now the government buildings have become ruins. Is this a coincidence? Yi Fan shook his head, feeling that things shouldn't be such a coincidence. But he couldn't find the answer to this matter, so he could only observe slowly. Focusing his attention on the supply box, he told the soldiers to pay attention to the fact that there was a mutated zombie in the pit. Shin Ruehue walked over cautiously and took a look inside. Yi Fan also saw it. There was an armored zombie in the pit, which was suppressed by the collapsed floor. The steel bars pierced its body and pinned it to the ground. It was still roaring when it saw someone coming, but it couldn't move at all. The supply box is also under the floor. Yi Fan was a little surprised when he saw this. Why can this zombie evolve into armor even when it is pressed here and cannot find food at all? Moreover, this armor seems to be slightly larger than ordinary armor. Does he have any other sources of energy? Or is there something wrong with the crater itself? Kill it. Sniper Zhao Ming came over and shot the armored zombie through its eye socket, killing it on the spot. I was originally a 1-star sniper, but after shooting this shot, I became a 2-star sniper. Sir, the value of this armor is so high. Ordinary armor is 1,000, but it has reached 1,800. Yi Fan's heart tightened. Sure enough, this armor was different from ordinary ones. It seemed that there must be something wrong with the crater. Dispose of the body and bring the box back to me. Yes. The soldiers were busy, and Yi Fan also withdrew his perspective, waiting for the soldiers to come back. The soldiers haven't come back yet, Gao Dongliang ran in happily. Yi Fan, there is good news or bad news, which one do you want to hear first? Yi Fan was a little speechless at the fat man's betrayal, but he still cooperated and said, let's hear the good news first. The good news is that the date for the Survivor Trading Conference has been set. It will be held in the hardware building in Surabaya County in 3 days. Many survivor groups have decided to participate. Many of them contacted me and said they wanted to trade gold and silver with us. All kinds of supplies. Oh, they collected gold and silver? Yes, there are a lot of survivors, and they don't care about casualties, and they are not slow to collect. I would say it's more than 5,000 grams worth of gold. They basically have enough. Yi Fan nodded. This is indeed good news. He must attend this party. Maybe the profit will help the team grow. What about the bad news? Xing Hai from Dakingshan prison yelled at you on the radio, saying that you were the one who killed their people and threatened to deal with you. This is not bad news. We have already formed a rift with the people in Dakingshan. But I heard that Xing Hai and Lu Long from Sisri Hardware Building seem to have known each other for a long time. There is a possibility that they can join forces. The reason why these two people can become leaders is because they are both ability users. There is another one, Xing Hai. Yesterday in the middle of the night, I seem to have contacted some mercenary force. He thought that no one would hear it in the middle of the night, but I happened to be about to turn off the broadcast and heard a little bit. Yi Fan thought for a while. No matter what Xing Hai or Lu Long wanted to do, they could not stop him from participating in this conference. As for dealing with himself, Yi Fan doesn't think they have the ability to do so, because he will be promoted to the battalion commander's authority soon, and it's not necessarily clear who will deal with whom by then. Okay, I know these 2 pieces of news. You can respond on the radio. We will definitely participate in 3 days. Okay. Gao Dongliang left happily. Yi Fan thought about it for a while. What he was most worried about was that someone would take advantage of him when he participated. His personal strength was the shortcoming of the current team, and corresponding precautions should be taken. 10 minutes later, the soldiers came back. Hundreds of soldiers cooperated very well, with no casualties and full harvest. A large amount of supplies were transported back by trucks, and the 2 houses were full. Although the survivors were very tired, everyone had a smile on their face. These supplies gave them confidence. At least the clothes, quilts, coal, etc. were enough to allow them to survive the upcoming winter safely. Several platoon leaders came to Yi Fan's office. Shin Ruehui was holding a supply box, and Xiao Sanyu was holding a big bag. The supply box and big bag were placed on Yi Fan's table, and several people retreated. Yi Fan took the supply box first. The wooden box is the same as before. It looks empty, but in fact there is a world inside. Open. Congratulations, sir, for getting a self-explosion truck, which has been parked in the backyard of the police station. Yi Fan was stunned, went to the window and looked out, and saw a large truck parked there. It's similar to the one in the game, a heavy truck, but behind it is a huge oil storage tank. On the surface, it doesn't look wrong, it's just a tanker truck. But Yi Fan knew very well how terrifying this thing was. The self-explosion truck is a country's special combat unit. It will explode when it is attacked to a certain extent. It is said that the explosion power is equivalent to that of a small nuclear bomb. And this thing runs very fast and can rush into the enemy's position at high speed. If you hit it, it will explode. If you don't hit it, it will run directly towards your building. Nana, is this car filled with fuel? Sir, it's just a camouflage on the surface. Even if you open it and look at it, there is a layer of diesel on the outside. In fact, there is a second layer inside, which is full of TNT high explosives. The explosion shockwave can cover a diameter of 5 kilometers. Does this thing need to be driven by someone? It can be driven by a man or unmanned, but don't worry, sir. To detonate this truck, it will not explode unless you continuously bombard it with super-intensive firepower, or you personally order it to explode. Despite what Nana said, Yifan still felt that this thing was too dangerous. He sent soldiers and a few dogs to patrol near the truck. No one should touch it, otherwise with a bang, he, the commander, and everyone here would probably be put back to their posts. It's indeed a fake supply box. It's such a dangerous thing. It's better to deal with it as soon as possible. Yifan rolled his eyes and wondered if he should take this thing to the trade fair and find an opportunity to exchange it for something. After thinking for a while, Yifan returned his attention to the big bag. It feels very heavy when you lift it, probably more than 10 kilograms. After all, tens of thousands of zombies were cleared today and many houses were collected. These gains are normal. Dee. I found precious metals that can be converted into system money. Do you want to convert them? Convert all. The transformation was successful, congratulations, sir, for getting 13,500 gold. Yifan checked his money and found that it had reached 14,600. Sure enough, the big operation will bring great rewards. Now he can easily be promoted to battalion commander and increase his firepower. The trading conference is coming soon. Someone wants to harm themselves and they must escalate as soon as possible. Forgetting all that, Yifan now has 118 red police units under his command. He directly ordered the production of 8 army soldiers first. This was his plan to set up a guard class. 5 more mobilization troops brought the number directly to 131. Exceeding the upper limit of 130 companies he set. Spent 2,100 gold, and after 21 minutes, Nana sent a prompt. Congratulations, sir, your red police unit has exceeded the company limit and has been promoted to the authority of a battalion commander. Please pay attention to check the battalion commander's gift pack. Thanks to the book friend, for a layup and a slap in the face, for rewarding me again and becoming the first elder of this book. Chapter 65. Gift packs and new troops. Listening to Nana's prompt, Yifan felt excited. After working hard for so long, I was finally promoted to battalion commander. A battalion and a company are completely different concepts. First of all, the number of red alert units that can be produced has increased several times, and the scientific and technological power must also be stronger. The battalion commander is the highest authority he can achieve before leaving the physical barracks. He is full of expectations for this day. The red alert page was opened, and the gift package below was flashing. Click on the gift bag and take it out. Opening it, the first thing is the uniform. Like the company commander level, there are 2 sets of uniforms, but this uniform is essentially different from that of the company commander. The commander's uniform, battalion commander level, major, body armor adopts red alert high-tech technology, which can resist rifle bullets and can withstand attacks by quasi-mutant zombies without being damaged. Yifan opened the military uniforms, including regular uniforms and camouflage uniforms. The shoulder straps have 2 horizontal bars and a star, which is the mark of a major and officially represents his separation from the ranks of junior officers. The clothes are a little heavier than normal, but not too heavy, and there is no burden to wear. The company commander level uniform disappeared when this set of clothes came out. Fortunately, no one was in the room and no one saw it. Wear the camouflage uniform well and feel comfortable when moving around. Yifan is very satisfied with the bulletproof effect. What he was most worried about was being hit by a sudden black gun. His clothes, pants, hat and shoes are all bulletproof, and they can still resist rifle bullets, so there is basically nothing to worry about. Does a person who shoots black guns hold a machine gun to highlight his handsome face? If there really was such a cruel person, he would have accepted his fate. After getting dressed, the contents of my pockets have also changed. The commander's bag, battalion commander level, has 8 cubic meters of space inside, which can accommodate various supplies and has a long-term preservation effect. The commander's medical box has twice the number of medicines and 4 antiviral serums, which can be used on people rescue them before they become 70% zombies. And it is equipped with a set of Commander's long-distance communication equipment, which is equivalent to a mobile phone. The increase in luggage space and the improvement in drug levels were both within Yi Fan's expectation. What he didn't expect was that it was equipped with communication equipment. Hurry, I took it out from my luggage and saw that there were 5 walkie-talkies. A small walkie-talkie that looks similar to a mobile phone. One of them is his own, the other 4 are for the 3 company commanders, and one is a spare. The walkie-talkie has a video function and a viewing angle function. It is not restricted by weather, signals, etc., and can make calls anytime, anywhere, all over the world. After the apocalypse, making calls is a very inconvenient thing. The original mobile phone cannot be used. Fortunately, Yi Fan's red alert system can contact various units, but it is also limited to the radar range. With this walkie-talkie, it will be much easier. Even if Yi Fan plans to go to the Kaoshan farm to build a base immediately after attending the trading conference, he can still keep in touch with him at any time. This thing came very timely and is very practical. Then there was the gun. Yi Fan felt more and more that his gun was becoming a decoration, and inaccurate marksmanship was a big problem. Moreover, as the number of troops increases, there are rarely times when he is needed to go to the battlefield. However, he is still looking forward to getting himself a high-quality gun and truly improving his strength. But when he saw the gun, he was still shocked. That turned out to be a micro-submachine gun that was smaller than a normal submachine gun and a little larger than a pistol. It is similar to the Type 05 silent submachine gun used by Su Haoran and his scouts, but the actual size is smaller. The commander's gun, battalion commander level, the Type 05 submachine gun, special version, is specially made for the commander. The size of the gun has been streamlined to the greatest extent, the part has been removed, and the silencer has been shortened. It is only equivalent to just a larger pistol that can be fired with one hand or used with both hands. The gun adopts silencer technology and laser aiming technology, and is equipped with a thermal night vision sight. It can fight in all weather conditions. It has an effective range of 500 meters. It uses 5.8 mm subsonic bullets. The gun has a magazine capacity of 50 rounds and is equipped with 5 magazines. Refreshed 24 hours a day. Seeing these introductions, Yi Fan was overjoyed. This is a truly good gun. In the past, his marksmanship was not good because he had less shooting practice, and it was not enough to fire bullets every day. This gun can produce 300 rounds a day, which is enough for him to practice. And the laser aiming technology makes Yi Fan even more excited, which can solve the problem of inaccurate marksmanship to a large extent. He believes that practice makes perfect, and his marksmanship will definitely improve by leaps and bounds during this period. I put the gun on my waist. The design of this gun is good enough. It doesn't feel too big and doesn't hinder movement. Finally, it's Yi Fan's vehicle. Pick up the car key and a prompt message will appear. The commander's vehicle, battalion commander level, Dongfeng Iron Armor is an upgraded version of the Dongfeng Warrior. It is specially made for the commander using red alert technology. The entire vehicle is made of qualified armor. The vehicle's dead weight reaches 10 tons and has the protection of an armored vehicle. Equipped with a vehicle-mounted heavy machine gun with 3,000 rounds of ammunition, and a maximum crew of 15 people. This vehicle also came from a distance. It appeared when Yi Fanxin gave birth to a dozen soldiers. It was almost at the door of the police station. Yi Fan has already vaccinated the survivors in advance, and a steady stream of troops will arrive. So the survivors didn't take it too seriously, they were just excited that the team was getting stronger. Yi Fan came to the window to check and saw a steel monster coming on the road. The height is over 2 meters too, the length is nearly 7 meters, and the width is almost 3 meters. 6 thick tires are more than 1 meter high, supporting the car body high. There is a machine gun tower on it, and there is also an alloy guard plate protection, which allows the machine gunner to fire safely. The normal Dongfeng Iron Armor is not so sturdy. This special version has increased protection, giving it the strength of an armored assault vehicle. This thing is good, it's just like an armored off-road vehicle. At this trading conference, it can basically guarantee safety in the car. The car drove to the door, the recruits got out of the car and came over to report to Yi Fan. Yi Fan asked them to wait. He still had another task, which was to research new arms for battalion-level units. This is the key point. Yi Fan's own strength improvement is nothing. His strongest strength is the army. First of all, I opened the soldiers page to see what new recruits there were. Sure enough, at the battalion commander level, soldiers have more options. Engineer, cost 200 gold. Anti-aircraft infantry, cost 1300 gold. Heavy machine gun warrior, group of 3 cost 1500 gold. These 3 are the new arms of the battalion level unit. The appearance of the heavy machine gun warriors came as a surprise to Yi Fan. His troops had always lacked continuous heavy firepower. They only had vehicle-mounted machine guns, but there were no specific equipment for the troops. After all, infantry has flexibility that tanks do not have, and the emergence of heavy machine guns makes up for this shortcoming. And engineers are very useful. Engineers are also called engineers. They can open roads, build bridges, detect, and most importantly, they can also mine and clear mines. Even when cooperating with engineers in construction, engineers are much easier to use than normal field troops. Now is the critical period for base vehicle construction, and this unit appears at the right time. Anti-aircraft infantry is also very useful. This unit is somewhat similar to the rocket launcher warrior, but the main task of the rocket launcher warrior is to attack armored units on the ground. The ground rocket launcher is actually not very useful against the air. Anti-aircraft infantry should carry man-portable air defense missiles, which can pose a fatal threat to low-altitude fighter jets and helicopters. Although Yi Fan hasn't seen anyone get the plane yet, he has to guard against it. However, Yi Fan was not in a hurry to produce, and was promoted to battalion commander to see if there were any new tanks. Chapter 66. Trying to become stronger. Opened the tank page, there are not many vehicles added. Because Nana has told Yi Fan that most high-tech vehicles, such as tanks, require physical construction to be unlocked, and the virtual tank factory still has low permissions. 2 more tanks have been added. Multifunctional wrecker, cost 2000 gold. Mining vehicle, cost 6000 gold. The barrier-breaking forklift is a very large military forklift. It looks about the same tonnage as a mining truck, but it has no mining function. This thing is mainly used to clear roadblocks, and it also has the functions of a forklift, crane, and trailer. There is a big problem in the last days, and that is that there are too many obstacles on the roads, especially when entering cities. It is simply difficult for cars without open roads to move forward. It was as if Yi Fan came to Qingguan town from Coal City, and the mining trucks and Dongfeng warriors were forced to stay there. He went to Lingshui to rescue his sister. The car could not enter the city either, so he had to go on foot. If there were a few cars like this, it probably wouldn't be so strenuous. Not to mention building a base, this thing is also indispensable. The appearance of the mine-laying vehicle gave Yi Fan a big surprise. After the base is established, defense is a problem. Who knows what scale zombies will appear in the future? Mines are definitely an excellent defensive weapon. It was just the cost of 6000 gold that made Yi Fan a little bit speechless, but fortunately he didn't need to make it right now. He still had a lot of things to replenish. After creating 13 soldiers, Yi Fan still had 12,300 money in his hand. The first thing he has to do is to replenish the medical cart and dining cart. It will definitely not work without a medical car. Needless to say, even without a dining car, it is very inconvenient. The problem of soldiers eating is not easy to solve. Going to a farther battlefield and then coming back to eat will waste time and efficiency. Medical cart 2,500, dining cart 2,000, directly produced. In addition to these 2 vehicles, Yi Fan did not immediately equip the army with transport trucks and platoon leader warriors, and now he does not have enough money. With the remaining 7,800 gold, he first asked a few engineers how many people would be needed if they were equipped with professional engineers. The engineers originally asked him for 50 soldiers, but engineers were obviously better than soldiers in this regard. They told Yi Fan that as long as 30 engineers cooperated with them, it would be enough. Yi Fan immediately produced 30 engineers and spent 6,000 gold to allocate them to the engineers. The grain depot has been captured, and engineers have moved in to start building base vehicles. Currently, some soldiers are helping, and engineers can replace the soldiers. With the remaining 1,800 gold, Yi Fan first produced a trio of heavy machine gun warriors. The battlefield requires heavy firepower. Let them enter the battle earlier and upgrade earlier. With the last 300, he produced a military dog. Yi Fan planned to set up a guard class, but it was impossible without a military dog around him. Xiao Tian had been following him for a long time, and Yi Fan wanted to get Xiao Tian back to his side, so he got a military dog to replace it. Spending money is like running water, and more than 10,000 gold is gone in the blink of an eye. Fortunately, the money was not wasted. After waiting for a while, 2 more vehicles drove over from a distance, namely the dining car from the cooking class and the ambulance from the medical class. Engineers and soldiers drove over in cars. These people not only owned rifles, but also minesweepers, and they were all skilled laborers. Yi Fan saw the new arrivals, and asked the people from the cooking class and the medical corps to drive their cars over, and then replaced Xiao Tian with him. The newly produced 8 army soldiers and 5 mobilization soldiers replaced the 8 3-star army soldiers and 5 3-star mobilization soldiers. Luo Fei, the first 3-star warrior who followed Yi Fan, also returned to him and became his temporary guard squad leader. Wang Hu, Li Biao, Jian Xiaobing, and other mobilization soldiers also returned to Yi Fan. The unit that Yi Fan specifically checked was the newly emerged heavy machine gun warrior. 3 heavy machine gun warriors, using domestically produced Type 89 12.7mm heavy machine guns. Moreover, this heavy machine gun is also equipped with a cart, sleds, metal guards and other equipment. The weight of the entire gun exceeds 100 kilograms. 3,000 rounds of bullets are not too many, but this thing can be upgraded quickly. If it is put on the battlefield tomorrow morning, it will probably become a 1-star weapon at noon. According to Yi Fan's battalion commander's authority, 1 battalion can produce 10 heavy machine guns. Each platoon is equipped with 1, and then the battalion's direct troops have 1 more. It's just that funds are tight now, so just build 1 first. There are still 3 days before the trade fair begins. In these 3 days, Yi Fan plans to sweep out Qingguan town, and then collect as much as he can from the surrounding villages. Each unit quickly entered the state and did what they were supposed to do. Yi Fan came to his Dongfeng armor. This guy is a specially made version. It really lives up to the name of iron armor. It feels like it can fit a dragon into its belly. This Xiaolong Yi Fan has not been recycled. It can be used by the company commander in the future. After boarding the car, Yi Fan still sat in the second row, while Wang Hu and Li Biao served as the driver and machine gunner. Only when we got to the top did we realize that this car also has a center console and an intercom device. Nana, can this intercom also be used? Yes, sir. From now on, the central intercom in your car can intercom with various armored vehicles and other special vehicles to facilitate your command during wartime. The intercom range is equal to the radar range. Your current radar range is 5 kilometers, and the intercom range is also 5 kilometers. Yi Fan nodded, then he would be able to contact the armored vehicle at any time in the future. After sitting for a while, the comfort level is quite good, especially in my seat, which does not feel hard at all. Getting out of the car with satisfaction, Yi Fan looked at the troops who were busy with their own affairs and felt that his strength should be improved a little. He has 2 plans, one is to practice shooting, and the other is to study the crystal taken out of the brain of the mutated beast. This thing is very rare. He only got one from the mutated beast, not from the armored zombies. Even the armor in the crater that shows signs of evolving to a higher level is not there, but there is some blue material that has not yet condensed into crystals. But he didn't know how to use this thing, so he simply informed the engineer Han Jing to come back. Han Jing returned to the police station from the grain depot, and Yi Fan had this crystal on his table. Sir, did you call me? Well, come here and see if this thing is edible. Han Jing came over, picked up the crystal and looked at it, opened the toolbox, took out a magnifying glass, all metal tweezers, etc., then put on white gloves, and studied the crystal as if it were archaeology. About 10 minutes later, Han Jing told Yi Fan, Sir, there is an unknown energy in this. It will be beneficial to the human body if taken. However, the effect is not yet certain, and the method of taking it needs to be discussed. What? Is there a difference between taking it before meals and after meals? Aren't they all eaten? Are you sure first whether it will be harmful? It shouldn't be harmful. No harmful substances have been detected here, but there is no precedent for this kind of thing. If the commander can wait until the combat laboratory is built, he should be able to find a way. The existing conditions are still not enough. That's too long, okay, go ahead and get busy. Yes. Han Jing left, and Yi Fan was ready to give it a try. Han Jing has determined that there is no danger and will be beneficial in taking it, so he doesn't want to wait. The trading conference is coming soon. If he can make himself stronger, his safety will be improved a lot. Picked up the egg-sized crystal and put it to his mouth. A faint aroma entered Yifan's nose. Yifan has eaten mutated animal meat several times in the past few days. The food is really delicious and makes Yifan feel a lot stronger. The feeling of this crystal is like the best part of mutated beast meat. The more you smell it, the more fragrant it becomes. Take a bite, taste it first. Yifan hesitated for a while. Although he was still a little uneasy, he still didn't stop his desire to become stronger. He closed his eyes and took a bite. This thing looks like rubber or jelly. I originally planned to take a bite, but I am used to eating mutant beast meat, and this thing is a bit slippery, so I swallowed it in one go. Chapter 67. The Left-Eyed Gunman. After swallowing it, Yifan thought he would transform. Transforming into a scion is also acceptable, as is Superman wearing underwear outside. But I never expected that it would be a stomachache. The feeling was so overwhelming that it almost made people unprepared. Yifan occupied the bathroom for half an hour before walking out, having a strange look on her face. During this period of time, the effect of swallowing crystals has appeared. The toxins were eliminated, but the elimination was a little too intense, resulting in some weakness now. Most of the crystal energy is also wasted in the process of eliminating toxins, and does not play a big role. But that energy was really a good thing, and it actually changed a weak part of Yifan's body. That's one of his eyes. Students who go to school read too much, and after the advent of smartphones, it is more difficult for their eyesight. Most of the students wear glasses. Yifan is not much better either. The long night studying in high school has caused some deterioration of his eyesight. The right eye is close to normal, but the left eye is a little short-sighted. Although a large part of this energy crystal was wasted, the remaining energy actually repaired the vision of his left eye. No, it's not repair. Repair is not so magical, this is strengthening. Normal vision of 1.5, Yifan didn't know how high his vision standard was. Just now, he was looking out of the bathroom window. He closed his right eye and only used his left eye. He could even see the grasshoppers under the crops on the hillside in the distance. What do I mean? A left-eye telescope? I wonder if it can be used as a left-eye sight. Through taking crystals this time, Yifan knew that he must have wasted his resources and would never be so reckless next time. But he also felt the benefits of this rash act. The vision in the left eye is a bit too abnormal. Would it be particularly effective if applied to shooting? Yifan immediately excitedly took his people out to practice shooting. 8 3-star army soldiers, 5 3-star mobilization soldiers, and the military dog Xiaotian came to the wilderness next to the police station. Yifan took a quick look at the radar and found that there were no zombies within this range, so he asked the soldiers to place some targets for him to use as targets. Taking out his own special characteristics and slightly rushing, Yifan looked at a row of bottles, bricks and other things placed about 50 meters in front of him. Aim normally with the right eye and shoot. Bang. No hit, normal operation. After all, this was the first time he used this gun, and Yifan didn't have many opportunities to practice it. It's nothing, mainly my left eye. Yifan tried to aim with his left eye. But he soon discovered a drawback. Because he, like most people, uses his right hand to do things and is not left-handed. Hold the gun in your right hand and aim with your right eye. This is fine. But it's a bit awkward to hold a gun in your right hand and aim with your left eye. Because you have to twist your neck and adjust the direction, the posture is a bit weird. Yifan felt awkward and tried to fire a few shots with his left hand, but the difference was even more outrageous and he was not used to using his left hand. With no choice but to adjust his right hand, he fired at a bottle in the distance in a weird way. Closing his right eye, the bottle seemed to be magnified dozens of times, clearly appearing in front of Yifan, raising his hand and taking a shot. The bottle is smashed, and the scope does not need to be opened. Yifan was so energetic that he raised his gun and fired continuously. Papa. 8 out of 10. This is due to the fact that I just started using this gun and the lack of coordination between my right hand and my left eye. This unprecedented result gave Yifan considerable confidence, and he immediately started the second round of shooting. The second round was also 8 out of 10, but the hits were more precise. After the first magazine is finished, start using the spare magazine. 9 out of 10 this time. As he became more familiar with guns, Yi Fan's marksmanship improved rapidly. The surrounding red police soldiers admired him from the bottom of their hearts. The commander-in-chief is actually able to shoot in such a weird way. Even the world shooting champion may not be able to do it. By the time 300 rounds of bullets were fired, Yi Fan was able to achieve 10 out of 10. But he was still not satisfied. He asked the soldiers to hand over their light machine guns to him, and he wanted to be familiar with the use of various firearms. He was not used to using the light machine gun at first, but he improved quickly. Gradually, Yi Fan was no longer satisfied with shooting at fixed targets. Instead, he asked the soldiers to abandon bricks and practice shooting at moving targets. From afternoon practice to nightfall, the bullets of the security guards around him were almost wiped out by Yi Fan, so he ended the work without finishing. I will continue to practice tomorrow. I must practice until I can hit wherever I point. With this kind of godlike vision, I will have no problem becoming a sharpshooter. Immersed in the joy of improving his strength, Yi Fan returned to the police station to rest. He ate 5 kilograms of meat and 5 bowls of rice for dinner, which was enough to supplement today's consumption. The next day, the troops went out to collect supplies again, and Yi Fan continued to practice gunnery with his guard squad. From morning to noon, the bullets were refreshed after 12 o'clock, and Yi Fan fired nearly 10,000 shots a day. He is already comfortable in using submachine guns, light machine guns, and rifles. This is where practice makes perfect. With the vision of his left eye, he can basically achieve a 50% hit rate even if he hits quickly thrown bricks. This is the benefit of enhanced eyes. Even those in the national shooting team have to rely on shotguns to shoot flying saucers. They may not be able to hit bricks with rifles like Yi Fan. The only thing worth complaining about is that he shoots with his right hand and aims with his left eye. Whenever he makes this expression, he seems to be seeing those classmates who are obedient in military training, and they are always a little uncoordinated. I will definitely practice shooting with my left hand in the future, but I don't have that time now. Yi Fan could only console himself. Perhaps for this reason, he could still become a sharpshooter who could fire with both hands. The next day, the troops also completely eliminated the zombies in Qingguan town, and once again brought back more than 12,000 points of money to Yi Fan. After the money came back, Nana made a request to Yi Fan. Sir, you have been promoted to the battalion commander's authority. Now please assign personnel to the battalion level unit. Yi Fan's previous quota for a company was 130 Red Alert units. It was not exactly the same as the previous Qin and Han dynasties, but it was basically the same. One battalion has 3 companies, that is 390 men. The cooking squad and the medical squad also need to be turned into platoon-level units, but this can be done according to the normal establishment. A platoon has 3 squads of 24 people, plus a platoon leader and a guard, that is 26 people. 2 platoons equal 52 people, which is 442 people. Moreover, Yi Fan also wants to create a direct platoon. The directly affiliated platoon is not affiliated with the 3 companies, but is under the direct control of the battalion commander. It is Yi Fan's direct affiliated unit, which can also be called the guard platoon. It is mainly responsible for his safety issues. The other companies are still mainly responsible for fighting zombies. There are 3 combat squads in a platoon, plus some snipers, scouts, military dogs, etc., which is 32 people. This is already 474 people, and Yi Fan now has 4 engineers and 30 engineers, which is 508. Mortars, heavy machine gunners, armored vehicle drivers, shooters, etc. that appeared later have not been included yet. After thinking about it, Yi Fan decided to limit the number of people in a camp to 550 people. Also leave some room for the emergence of new arms in the future. It's confirmed, a battalion-level unit has a capacity of 550 people. Please ask the commander to name the unit. Name? Yes, our troops are about to leave here. They must have a name or number. Please name them, sir. Yi Fan immediately realized the importance of this issue. After this naming, it was the name of his red police force in this apocalyptic world. It must have a resounding name. Thanks to the book friend, Dean, please let me be discharged from the hospital, for your once again 10,000 reward, and for becoming the leader of our Red Alert Hall. Chapter 68. Elite Troops. Yi Fan has experienced being mistaken for an army member before, and later he simply refused to explain. Anyone who likes to misunderstand will misunderstand. But when it came time to name the team, Yi Fan still felt that it was inappropriate. It is not possible to pretend to be regular troops. Although regular troops have never been seen, who knows what will happen in the future? Although his team is very powerful in combat, it is not the real soldiers of Qin and Han Dynasty after all. If you don't use the name of a regular army, then choose a relatively loud name. Let's call it the Legion of Dawn, a troop that can bring people hope. Definitely naming the Dawn Legion. Please give a Legion mark, sir. And the Legion mark? Yes, it is used to distinguish it from other camouflage uniform teams. Yi Fan thought about it. Now camouflage clothing has become the most popular type of clothing, which is durable and practical, and these types of clothing generally look the same. Nana made a few marks in the red alert interface, and Yi Fan took a fancy to one. A little sun appeared above the dark clouds, and the moment when the dawn bloomed was frozen. That's it seems to have a pretty good meaning. Marking determination is completed and all red alert units have produced markers. Yi Fan immediately went to the window to check. He found 2 more embroideries on the chest and arms of the patrolling soldiers, which was the scene of dark clouds covering the sun and the dawn of dawn. This pattern is also added to the vehicle. It looks like it is spray-painted on the door, and it doesn't look out of place. Even the cloth draped on the back of the military dog has such embroidery. Although it is called the Dawn Legion, Yi Fan's team is still extremely far away from a legion. Now there are only a few people, and he still needs to expand a bit. Yi Fan plans to use the current 12,000 gold to build a platoon. That is your own guard platoon, which can also be called the troops directly under the battalion headquarters. Producing a company requires too much money, and it is almost the same to build a platoon. Once this platoon is produced, it will be directly responsible for Yi Fan's safety. The other main battle companies should continue to fight zombies. This guard platoon is the troop he will take with him to the trading conference. After tonight, Yi Fan will leave for the trading conference early tomorrow morning. Because the day after tomorrow is the start of the conference, it is nearly 300 kilometers to Sisri County, and we have to take the road, so we have to leave in advance. First of all, Yi Fan planned to use all army soldiers in this platoon. Now there are 8, and he produced 16 more, expanding it to 3 squads. Then replace the 3-star warriors in other units. His guard platoon needs absolute elites. 24 3-star army soldiers, this is the main combat force of the guard platoon. Then there were military dogs. Xiaotian's lone military dog couldn't do it, so Yi Fan produced 4 more military dogs, and then replaced them with 4 3-star military dogs. Each of the 3 classes took one, while Xiaotian and the other 3-star female dog were still with them. The number of scouts has been expanded. Yi Fan produced 2 new scouts to replace Shen Ruihui and Qiao Sanyu. Su Haoren has rich combat experience, but we also need a leader here, so let him stay. Shen Ruihui and Qiao Sanyu are his personal bodyguards, following him. Yi Fan produced 2 more snipers, replacing Lin Qing and Zhao Ming, and also followed him and became one of his guards. These units cost 6,700 gold, and Yi Fan did not continue to produce new soldiers. Then flamethrower warrior Wang Aiyu and rocket launcher warrior Su Mo were temporarily called over by Yi Fan and joined the guard platoon. In the end, Yi Fan decided to bring 2 medical soldiers, which would come in handy in case someone was injured during the battle. He immediately asked Nana to inform the medical soldiers to prepare 2 people to go to Surabaya County with him tomorrow. In this way, Yi Fan's number of people here reached 32, which was considered a full arrangement, and the 5 military dogs were not included. With 5,000 gold left, Yi Fan produced another engineer. This engineer replaced Luo Jessen. Yi Fan felt that the engineer Luo Jessen was quite clever and would be good to keep around for repairs and other things. Going to the trade conference, he drove his Dongfeng iron armor, then drove the Xiaolong off-road vehicle, plus the army's assault armored vehicle. But the family's strength was a little weaker. With the remaining 4,000 gold, Yi Fan simply produced another assault armored vehicle and stayed at home to guard it. A battalion-level unit can only have 4 assault armored vehicles. The first one produced follows itself and is directly under the jurisdiction of the battalion headquarters. At this point, Yi Fan's strengthened direct platoon has basically taken shape. 24 3-star army soldiers, 2 3-star scouts, and 2 3-star snipers. A 3-star rocket launcher warrior and a 3-star flamethrower warrior. 2 3-star medics, 5 3-star military dogs, and 1 engineer. as well as armored vehicle driver Han Haoyu and heavy machine gunner Zhang Xiaoyu. They will also be assigned to the directly affiliated platoon, making a total of 40 Red Police units. This is the main force of Yi Fan and others going to the trading conference. In addition to these, Yi Fan also asked 5 mobilization soldiers, including Wang Hu and Li Biao, to drive 5 large trucks, all of which were used to load supplies. Most of the supplies collected in the past 2 days were loaded into the car. The family only kept supplies that could last a few months. The rest were taken away and exchanged for money. When these supplies were loaded into the truck, some survivors were a little unhappy because they felt that Yi Fan was depriving them of the fruits of their labor, which they had worked so hard to collect. It's just that Yi Fan's team now has more than 100 people, and no one of these survivors dares to say anything. Yi Fan didn't care what they thought, and just urged them to move faster. Complete loading in the evening and rest after dinner. After a night of silence, Yi Fan got up early the next morning and prepared to set off. He left a walkie-talkie here to Su Haoran and a walkie-talkie to his sister Yi Luo. In this way, no matter what the situation is, he can grasp it immediately. After asking about Gao Dongliang's situation, he said that nothing had changed. It was just that Gao Dongliang reported the name of the Dawn Legion according to Yi Fan's instructions. Many survivors expressed disdain, saying that in this world, living day by day is nothing. Dawn. As for the origin of the Dawn Legion, Yao Dongliang didn't ask, which made Yi Fan quite satisfied. People who don't talk much are considered smart. He also took Gao Dongliang with him. After all, Yao Dongliang knew the transaction situation best and was indispensable. Many survivors have already set off for Surabaya, and it's time for Yi Fan to set off as well. Out of the door of the police station, the fully armed guard platoon soldiers have been assembled. In the middle are Xiao Jing and He Xiaoting, female medical soldiers in military uniforms. When they saw Yi Fan, they immediately stood at attention and saluted. What? Why are you two? Yi Fan asked. Sir, I am a 3-star medical soldier with the best medical skills in the medical class. He Xiaoting is also a female soldier. We have the patience and meticulousness that male soldiers do not have, so we are the best candidates to take care of you. Xiao Jing said plausibly. The little lowly-looking He Xiaoting next to her also nodded frequently to express her support for squad leader Xiao Jing. Okay, then come with me. I hope you won't hold back. Yi Fan was confident when he said this. In the past, his combat effectiveness was the last among everyone, but his left eye was strengthened and he became a sharpshooter. He felt that he was no longer the same. Xiao Jing smiled slightly. Sir, don't worry, the combat effectiveness of the 3-star medical soldiers is not bad. If the two of us fight hand to hand, you may. Yi Fan closed his right eye and opened his left eye, snorting coldly. Do I need to fight with you with bare hands? Xiao Jing immediately shook his head. Sir, when you turn a blind eye, that is when you are the most terrifying. Yi Fan nodded with satisfaction, but he still couldn't control you, a yellow-haired girl. The team is ready, with the Xiaolong off-road vehicle at the front. 3 friends on the driver's bridge led a flamethrower, a sniper, and a squad of army soldiers to clear the way ahead. Then there was Yi Fan's Dongfeng iron armor. Shinrui Hui was driving, Yao Dongliang was sitting in the passenger seat, Xiao Jing and He Xiaoting were sitting next to Yi Fan, and they didn't know who arranged the seat, which really made Yi Fan seem very unhappy. Engineer Luo Jessen crowded together with the snipers, rocket launcher warriors, and military dogs, and stayed at the back. Then there were 5 heavy trucks lined up, driven by 5 3-star conscripts. The last one is the assault armored vehicle. 2 squads of soldiers are in this vehicle as the backup force. As Yi Fan gave the order, the first Xiaolong vehicle started to move, followed closely by the Dongfeng armor, and the Shuguang army stepped out of Qingguan town for the first time. Legion of Dawn is the result of everyone's vote. It is fair and impartial. No one can complain. After all, everyone has different ideas about the name, so be it. Chapter 69. Encounter on the road. Moments before the convoy left Qingguan town, Yi Fan suddenly remembered the self-explosion truck, and ordered a mobilization soldier to act as the driver, take the truck with him, and set foot on the road to Surabaya together. Within Yi Fan's radar range, no red light spots could be seen. Before leaving this morning, he had given Su Haoran an order not to stop the troops' operations during the period of his departure. The combat collective of a company plus an engineer platoon naturally cannot do nothing. The engineer platoon cooperates with the engineer to build the base vehicle. In addition to collecting supplies, the company's mission is to clean up the surrounding countryside. Before Yi Fan left, 2 combat platoons had already gone out to fight. The convoy drove for a while, about 10 kilometers out, and Yi Fan saw a white spot on the radar screen. White is his red alert unit, which should be a platoon. The location they were in was a village, which happened to be where Yi Fan needed to pass. But Yi Fan found no red light spots in this village. Could it be that this platoon has killed all the zombies? Seeing Yi Fan and his convoy approaching, the entire platoon of soldiers stood at attention on the roadside. Yi Fan got out of the car, and the soldiers gave him a military salute. The person taking the lead is a scout he produced yesterday. Since there are no officers yet, he can only use a scout to replace him. Sir, the commander of the 3 platoons of the Dawn Legion's 1st Battalion and Company, and Scout Jiang Hao are leading the team to exterminate the zombies. Yi Fan glanced around. There was no smell of gunpowder smoke at all, and he didn't see any zombie corpses. He asked strangely, "What's the result of your battle?" "Sir, we only arrived at this village 10 minutes ahead of you, but it's very strange that there are no zombies in this village." "Oh. Not one?" Yi Fan also felt strange. He knew this village, and there were 4,000 to 5,000 people in it. How could he not see a single zombie? Can the survivors destroy these 4,000 to 5,000 zombies? Yi Fan thought it was unlikely, so he asked Jiang Hao, "Then what did you find?" "Something has been discovered. We found the footprints of the zombies leaving. Look over there, sir." As he spoke, Jiang Hao took Yi Fan to a road out of the village. There were indeed many footprints here. Looking at the direction in which the footprints were leaving, it seemed that they were heading towards Coal City. According to the professional skills of my scouts, these footprints were left 3 days ago, and the number of zombies that left is about 4,000, which means that the zombies in this village migrated en masse. Yi Fan frowned slightly. This is not good news. He has never thought that zombies know how to migrate. This behavior shows that there must be some changes inside the zombies that he is not aware of. The reason why he is confident about this apocalypse is because he feels that zombies have no intelligence. No matter how many zombies there are in the world, they can only be killed by him bit by bit. But it would be troublesome if zombies knew how to act collectively. In addition, he saw some armors that evolved to a higher level in the government building in Qingguan town, which made him feel that the world would not be that simple. Go back and tell Su Haoren that the security of the restaurant and police station must be strengthened to prevent any changes in the zombies. Clear. Let's continue searching and try to clear out as many zombies as possible around us, so that we can be less stressed in the future. After telling Jiang Hao, Yi Fan got in the car again and the team continued to move forward. Walked out of the path in front and got on the highway. There is no problem in accessing these roads that are not in the main urban area, but occasionally you will see a vehicle that overturns into a deep ditch. The radar is always on, and occasionally some red light spots can be seen in the distance. Sometimes, you can even see sporadic blue light spots in a hidden place. There are still many people who can escape in the city, but not everyone can find the survivor camp. After all, this is a dangerous world without communication. These people can barely survive now, but with the coming of winter in the north, their survival will definitely be a big problem. It's just that Yi Fan doesn't have the energy to take care of this now. Even if he plans to take in more survivors, it will have to be done after the base is established. After walking more than 100 kilometers, in the afternoon they crossed a large river named Songjiang. There is a Songjiang Bridge on the river. It was built 30 years ago and is still majestic. It is one of the important passages connecting Bingcheng City, Coal City, and Huacheng City. After crossing the Songjiang Bridge and heading west, more than 100 kilometers away is their target, Sisui County. 300 kilometers further south is the backing farm where Yi Fan wants to establish a base. This bridge seems to have been drilled through, creating a passable lane. Looking at some scrapped vehicles on the bridge, the fuel tank caps have been opened, obviously someone has collected them. When the convoy crossed the bridge, they were halfway through the road. "Sir, there is a village 40 kilometers ahead. Once you get there, you will enter Sisui County. However, if you want to reach the hardware building on the outskirts of Sisui City, you may not be able to reach it today unless you drive all night." "Don't drive all night. Let's see if we can find a place to stay in the village today. We'll leave early tomorrow." "Clear." The convoy continued to move forward and arrived at the edge of the village around 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Yi Fan has never been to this village before, and it doesn't look particularly small. However, the zombies were basically not in this village. Instead, they gathered at the corner of a hill about 3 kilometers away. It seemed that they had been led there by someone at first glance. Because in this village, Yi Fan also saw 60 or 70 blue light spots. But it was not convenient for Yi Fan to say it, because Gao Dongliang was also sitting in front. But the Red Alert soldiers already knew it well, and Nana had accurately informed all the Red Alert units, the number of opponents and their approximate location. Those people gathered on the east side of the village, so Yi Fan decided to drive the car to the west. The convoy entered the village and found several relatively spacious courtyards, and all the cars parked in them. Xiaolong and Dongfeng iron armor were parked in a yard. The armored vehicles and trucks were parked together, but they were basically covered by the trucks. Yi Fan got out of the car and ordered the team to be alert. Then he slowly walked out of the yard with the scouts, snipers and military dogs. Female medical soldiers Xiao Jing and He Xiao Ting also followed, faithfully fulfilling their responsibilities as medical soldiers. A few people walked to the edge of the village. Yi Fan looked around casually, but suddenly saw 5 or 6 blue light spots on the map rushing towards this side. The survivors apparently heard the sound of vehicles entering the village, and they probably came to check the situation. There were only 5 or 6 people on the other side, so Yi Fan didn't have to worry about anything. He simply stood there and waited, wanting to see where they were coming from. The car roared in front of us. It was a civilian Hummer, which could be considered a high-end Jeep. With a creak, the car drifted a dozen meters in front of Yi Fan and the others and stopped. The car door opened and 5 people got out. Similar to Yi Fan and the others, the 5 of them were also wearing camouflage and carrying firearms. The leader was a young man in his 20s, who was dark and strong. He glanced at Yi Fan and the others and was also shocked by Yi Fan and the others. These Red Alert soldiers, under Yi Fan's men, eat well and sleep well. They often eat mutated animal meat. Although there are not so many beds for sleeping, each Red Alert soldier has his own sleeping bag, which is warm and comfortable. Qingguan town is close to a river. Although the river water is not suitable for drinking directly, there is no problem for bathing. Especially these 3 star warriors, they are not even infected by viruses, and they have no taboos in normal times. Even clothes are washed frequently, using a brand of transparent soap, which is refreshing and comfortable, sterilizes and removes odors, and the effect is very considerate. So each of them is full of energy and looks very healthy and clean. At first glance, they are not comparable to ordinary survivors. The dark, strong young man opposite was stunned for a moment, then showed a wary look, and said to a few people around him, "Be careful, except for the one in the middle, everyone else, including the dog, is in danger." Chapter 70. A letter to readers. During this period, readers have asked many questions. Some of them were originally planned to be reflected in the book one after another, but some readers are very eager to know. Today I will talk about a few key questions. 1. The problem of female protagonist. This book does not have a female protagonist for the time being. There may be one in the future, but there will only be one. 2. Update problem. I want to update quickly. I did the same thing in the early stage, but that doesn't work because it is a new book now. The promotion period has not passed and it has not been put on the shelves. It cannot be too explosive. It is updated twice a day, and it will naturally explode once it is put on the shelves. 3. Bullet supply problem. Many people say that there is a little shortage of bullets. Here, Haita tells everyone that the bullet problem and many other logistical problems will be solved after the physical building is completed. 4. Regarding issues such as gold shops and banks, of course the protagonist will go there, but it is not a very simple matter. What Kuratsuchi writes about is not the Earth, but a huge planet that is much larger than the Earth and has a population of hundreds of billions. You can imagine that such a planetary gold shop and a large bank would be in such a densely populated place. If you don't have a certain amount of strength, you would be looking for death. However, Kuratsuchi will do his best to further develop the protagonist and become stronger as soon as possible. 5. Regarding the problem of superpowers, Kuatu has said this in the group. Now let me say it here. This book is not about cultivation, immortality, or magic. People with superpowers just get some special things. Ability, with stronger combat power than ordinary people. After all, zombies can evolve, and humans should be able to evolve too. Otherwise, the protagonist's existence would not be too lonely and invincible, but there will not be that kind of Superman-like person. 6. The evolution of zombies. Zombies are the enemy of human beings and will have certain evolutionary potential. Otherwise, they will not be enough for the protagonist to kill. In the early and middle stages, humans are weak when facing zombies, but they will not evolve very much. Invincible, after all, the power of technology is truly powerful. 7. The issue of accommodating survivors. It has been planned since the beginning of this book that survivors must be accommodated. Do you have such a powerful power and still want to watch human beings perish? In that case, wouldn't the protagonist be dehumanized? The protagonist I designed is someone who is capable of doing great things, without being forced or ruthless. The book also says that if you don't support idle people, survivors must rely on their own efforts to strive for a better life, which will be reflected later. 8. The problem of supporting roles. Anyone who wants to play supporting role should write it in the book review area, otherwise it will not be remembered. 9. The issue of naming the protagonist team. This issue has been discussed countless times. This name was chosen by everyone in the group through voting, respecting the wishes of most people. I can responsibly say that no one can choose a name that will not be criticized. Therefore, it is most fair and reasonable for the minority to obey the majority. There is one last question, which is about the military, government, etc. I won't explain this issue much. It has been explained in the book, and smarter readers will naturally be able to understand it. Finally, I found that there are many soldiers reading this book. I salute you. I also hope that some book friends will respect themselves and not openly mock our military in their comments. A person must have a bottom line. Kuratsuchi has no time to read these because he has to write 2 books at the same time. Please watch over and find out those who have no conscience. Report him if you troll. That's it. It's not easy for red warning texts to survive. I hope everyone will cherish it, give Black Earth support and understanding, and let this book continue to move forward. Thank you.